The Hacks of Gorm, Part 46, The School of Frankfurtsein. Or Charmer, Marcusavia, what had they done? Gottschalk looked to the head teacher for some sort of explanation. After Gorm had dragged her off him, though, she had become quiet and withdrawn, forgetting even the slain orc upon the floor, staring at her ghoul box, rather than chastising or even trying to strangle Gottschalk further.
"We need go," said Gorm. "We need find monster. Hotties, wake up soon."
Gottschalk glanced at the two women whose heads the barbarian had bonked together, but only sighed.
"We don't even know what it looks like."
He strode up to the perverse throne where the slain dwarf still sat. Whatever had twisted his head so must have been dangerously strong, just as strong as what had destroyed Orcharmer's room in Part 43.
"Monster has mighty hands."
Somehow Gottschalk felt that wouldn't be enough to identify it. It was then that he noticed various scrolls hidden amongst the strange objects around the throne. They were nestled in niches, and he took them out to examine them. They were apparently written by this Marcusavia fellow, and though they showed that he was quite perverse, as if the throne itself wasn't enough of a clue, they also espoused intolerant tolerance, a belief that so many cultists embraced with violent religious glee. Gottschalk recalled Orcharmer's scrolls too. Unlike Marcusavia, the former was simply critical of Vale society, constantly commenting on it, while at the same time labeling any criticism of his own views as insane. Like him, though, such beliefs were certainly spelling the Vale's doom now that they were being put into practice. They were leading to the death of the local folk. One of the women that Gorm had knocked unconscious was beginning to stir. It was the stunningly blonde beauty. Gottschalk knew it was time to go. He didn't want to have Gorm fight her again. That the woman was even conscious at all showed that she must have had amazing fortitude. Giving it one last chance, he turned to the head teacher. He could see something about a women's march in avoidance of motherly duties in the name of challenging what our cult says is wrong on her Google screen. The unholy device did seem to calm her, if not place her into a nearly zombie-like state. He grasped the torn sword on his belt in an attempt to make direct contact with her.
"What's down the other passages?"
he asked.
"Huh?"
At least she could hear him now. Her fingers were still smearing across the box feverishly. Some drool began to drip from her lip.
"This one is Marcusavia, the other Orcharmer," he continued.
That was enough to trigger her to attention. She turned to Gottschalk for a moment and sneered.
"You mean Herb and Maximus? The others are Adorn-You and Potluck."
She went back to staring at her box. Gottschalk took a moment to look at her more closely. What a beautiful woman she was. Such a shame that she had fallen so much under the sway of cults, of teachings like Marcusavia's and Orcharmer's. They didn't make her happy. Even her Google box brought her no true joy.
"What is this place?"
A bit of tenderness escaped with Gottschalk's question. Some of his affection for the woman had come back. She turned to him once more and absent-mindedly replied,
"This is the School of Frankfurtsein."
He would have asked more, but the blonde had arisen. Gorm was beginning to move towards her, and Gottschalk knew whatever happened next would likely be bad for them all. Gottschalk didn't know who Adorn-You and Potluck were, but guessed that the monster must be down one of those passages, and these men had also helped somehow create it. So they left, though Gorm took his time. It seemed that he either wanted to attack the blonde beauty with his axe, make love to her, or both. Such were the ways of barbarians. At least they were wiser than cults. Next week, The Hacks of Gorm, Part 47.